A round of applause.
Thank you. I hope this will work. Mas mabilis pag ako ang magkiklik. Save a few seconds, saying, next slide, please. Okay. Sige. So, what I was requested to present to you are the highlights of the 2017 Mindanao River Basin. Yeah. Are the highlights of the 2017 Mindanao River Basin Master Plan, which we had the privilege of preparing. And this master plan, just to start with, is a product of engaging many different kinds of stakeholders and forming different kinds of planning teams during that time. So meron kaming technical working group, which is normal technical, composed of technical personnel working, and then meron kaming parang steering committee, but mga advisory, planning advisory group consisting of yung mga heads of offices that are that have interests in Mindanao River Basin. So maraming FGDs, maraming stakeholders forum. Minda actually did a lot of presentation of this, sila nag-facilitate nung tapos na ito. There were a number of this forum where this master plan was presented. Now, I think the very reason why why this was requested of me is that the problems with the flood, the problems with flooding is really an issue of what we're doing in the river basin. Flood risk is really a reflection of what's going on in the river basin. So it's not only about the forest cover, but it's all about the many other activities that are happening in the river basin. So yun yung reason why. Just pointing out once again here, the vastness of Mindanao River Basin, the second largest river basin in the Philippines, 2 million hectares. Second only to 3 million hectare river basin sa Cagayan Valley. But this is so vast, and so I mentioned, napaka-diverse culturally and socially, as was pointed out by Dr. Hall. Ang daming, wala lang akong mapa, but nandun sa master plan namin yung mapa ng mga IPs, nandun doon sa master plan. So, napakarami yan. And then, 5 regions, saan ka nakakita ng ganyang river basin? 5 regions and 9 provinces. Ang Cagayan River Basin, which is a lot larger, 3 regions lang yun. CAR, Region 2, at saka partly Region 3, small portion. So, 2 and a small portion of another one. Ito, 5, 5 regions, and then 9 provinces and hundreds of municipalities, cities and municipalities. So, ang laki niya laki. And then, hindi ko na kasi diniscuss na to ni Dr. Sanchez about water, So, papaspasan ko na lang itong but enough to say that there's a lot of water, Kaya nga may problema kayo sa flooding. There's a lot of water, although mayroong mga areas where may mga water shortages na, mga water deficits already. Yung mga highly populated areas and areas where you have a lot of economic activities ongoing. So, tapos na tayo, maraming dams, Ito yung mga maraming potential sites ng dams ninyo, Kasi ang dami nyo nga tubig, So this is an asset, this is an asset actually that you can work on, but at the same time also, itong mga dams na to can serve as your flood regulating structures, And then ito yung mga current obstructions, that is happening within the river basin, water districts, mga irrigation systems, where you see water being taken from the groundwater and partly from the surface water. So maraming tubig, walang masyadong problema, laki-laki ng available water ninyo. Okay, waste disposal, it was flagged. Now, just to put context in this, nung ginagawa namin itong master plan na to, yung initial scoping namin ng mga problems and issues and concerns sa Mindanao River Basin actually came from the stakeholders. No? So ito, lumabas kagad itong problems with waste management. No? So it's a concern, no, in the river basin. And then yung hindi pa masyado naman ganun kasama ang tubig ninyo eh, no. Hindi pa ganun kasama. Ang problema lang talaga dito is more on yung ano bang problema dito? Yung itong wala pang problema at that time, teka muna, 2017 ito 2017 ito, and then some of the data goes back to 2015, no, and some goes back to 2010. So yun yung pinanggagalingan ng data. No, ang may problema lang itong yung mga silt sediments, no. Yan lang yung medyo mataas, no, beyond the threshold. Okay, and then soil erosion index, hindi niyo masyadong nakikita, no, but the smaller, the red patches here are those areas with high erosion potential. So ginamitan namin ng konting modeling, no? And ito yung lumabas ng mga soil erosion index niya, no? Soil erosion index is is derived from the soil erosion potential versus the soil tolerance limit, no? And then yung land cover niya, and this is 2010, no? Again, nung ginawa namin kasi ito, hindi pa lumalabas yung 2015 no? So ganun ka-delay bago lumabas yung bagong land cover map natin. So ang ginamit namin noon is 2010, no? We could have used satellite images and do our own interpretation, but again, to put context into the planning process, there was only this small amount of budget, no? Napakaliit niyan talaga naman, parang parang kumot na napakaliit na kami ay namamaluktot na para lang magkasya, no? So as much as we can, we collected data that was readily available, no? So itong land cover na to is from 2010. From 2003 to 2010, we're seeing this trend. Yung built-up areas, no, has grown, 600%, no? So laki niya, no? And then yung annual crop, hindi masyado, no? But it's still growing, in other words, no? It's still growing yung crop plants, no? And I'm very sure it has grown, kung tingnan natin in 2020 na land cover map. And then yung forest cover declined by a little bit, no? Konti lang naman, from 13 to 12%, no? So hindi ganun kalaki yung change ng forest cover from 2003 to 2010, no? But is that not a problem? It is a problem kasi 13% na lang ang forest cover, no? Napakaliit na nun, no? Napakaliit na nun to be able to protect the soil, no? And to be able to harbor yung mga biodiversity, no, that we normally or we originally have in the area, no? So napakaliit na ng 13%. No? We need NGP actually. Wala na si Sir. Ayun, nakatindig. No?
Original forest cover pa ito, 13%.
No, this is... yeah, most likely it is. Wala na palagay kung ano dito. But, teka muna. Merong maliit na close forest. So, no, not necessarily original forest, but close canopy forest. No? Pero baka wala na original. And then, we did some, estimation of land capability map. We normally develop this kind of map because based on the soil erosion potential, we can actually determine what kind of land uses may or may not be tolerated, in certain parts of the river basin or of the watershed, no? And okay, so this is the land capability map based on 2050 climate projections, no? So pag nakita niyo yung red, ang red ay that's where you can have, unlimited production. Ang strict protection ay yung mga natitirang yung mga green patches, no? Green patches. Oo. Pero pag in-overlay mo yan I'm not sure whether I have that map. Paki-advance nga. Thank you. Yan. Ito yung mga non-conforming uses, no? Non-conforming land uses based on land capability maps. In other words, ito yung mga areas where you have uses na based on sa land capability map, hindi nagmamatch. No? And that will be unsustainable or erosive, no, to a certain degree. No? So ito yon, no? Ito yung makikita niyo mga, mga areas of concerns. No? Ang sasabihin kasi ng karamihan dyan is, so what do we do with that? Kung marami ng bahay doon, may bayan na doon, halimbawa, may syudad na doon, no? So what do we do? Hindi naman pwedeng alisin yan. No? But it can be a basis now of developing yung mga mitigation measures, no? Measures to alleviate or to minimize the adverse impacts of those uses, no, that are in the wrong place, no, to minimize the damages to the areas where they should not be. Okay. And then, non-conforming uses pa rin ito. And then, ito, hindi ko na, meron na presentation si Doc Pat dyan kanina, no? Marami na sinabi dyan, no? So, ito ay mga lumang projections pa, no? So, hindi ko na puntahan yan. Landslide, ito yung mga occurrences, no? Mga events ng landslide in the past that we were able to gather, no? At that time. So, may problema sa landslide, no? And then, flood susceptibility, again, pakita na si Doc Pat, si Doc Dalisay, may mga pinakita ng map. So, in other words, flooding is a real issue. No? Flooding is a real issue. Itong mga yellow na to is, yan yung mga areas that are prone to mga rare events. No? Pag malaki yung scope ng mga areas that are depicted in the map, in other words, yun yung mga severe flooding, no? Or yung mga less frequent pero napakalaking flood, no? Flood event, no? So nag-ano din kami noon, nag-compute din kami ng inundation, no? Inundation map, no, using models, no? So for baseline for 2020 and 2050, so yan yung mga flooded areas. So we did that for the 2-year return period. Ito yung more frequent, no? more frequent flooding event. And then, paki-turn nga please. And then meron din kami for 10-year. And then meron kami sa 50-year return period. No? So yan yung may mga flooding estimates kami at that time. At that time, ito yung data that we have, no? We gathered from Pagasa, yung number of days with extreme temperature or high temperature, no? But of course, we use that for, next slide please, ayaw na. Napagod na. Yeah. Okay. Which is just leading to yung problem that we highlighted, yung problems of drought, no? Okay. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yes, please. Hindi ko na rin yan. Let's move along. Yes. Yeah. Poverty incidence was actually, poverty was actually raised as an issue at that time, no, ng mga stakeholders. So ito lang yung mga, kumbaga ito yung mga numbers, that we use to support as evidence, no. And then next slide. Human Development Index, in some areas okay, but it's still low to moderate. No? Next slide. Population density map, no? So we can see here the concentration of population, dito sa central portion ng Mindanao River Basin, no? South Cotabato, Maguindanao area. Next slide, please. A poverty incidence map, okay? And then, enough to say that it's a concern, in many parts of the river basin. Yeah. And then we do have yung protected areas map, this is just to highlight yung conservation value ng Mindanao River Basin, no? Mataas ang kanyang biodiversity conservation value kasi ang dami niyang protected areas and key biodiversity areas, no? So, andyan ang Mount Matuto, Mount Apo, no? Andyan ang Ligoasan Marsh, no? Ala River, no? And many others, no? So, andyan yan. Next slide. Lake Cebu. No? And then, ito yung mga key biodiversity areas. Okay, so, gumawa din kami ng participatory risk assessment, no? And ang lumalabas doon ay ang pinaka-concern talaga when it comes to climate change related risk ay drought, landslide at saka flood, of course, ang pinaka-serious, no? Pinaka-severe risk perceived by the participants, no? By the stakeholders, no? Pagdating sa risk. And again, which is supported by numbers, no? Okay, now let me now say that land use and climate change impinge on resilience and sustainability of Mindanao River Basin, no? It's a lot of the problems sa Mindanao River Basin is an issue of land use and development, no? And now if we look at these different uses, no, that you have urbanization, agriculture, no, hilly farming, logging, mining, grazing, no. Wala namang masama dyan, di ba? These are all valid uses as far as I'm concerned. No? The only problem is, pag na-click, yan yung problem. the problem is that pagka yung planning is not, it's not proper, no? And then yung enforcement is a problem, and then yung locating yung mga different activities, no, in the river basin. And then yung fragmentation of land use and development plans and then land conversion. No? So ito yung mga problema natin no? When we manage land resources in the river basin, no, kinakailangan mahusay yung governance and yung no. Otherwise, it will actually result to many kinds of environmental and social problems and economic problems, no. Pagka hindi tama, no, yung land use and development natin, no. That's why we have, next slide please. That's why we have these problems, no. Kaya nga mayroon kayong deforestation tayo dito, mayroon degradation ng ecosystems, na habitat loss of biodiversity, informal occupancy. You can add other problems there, no. And that, next please click, no? And then you have all these different kinds of other problems, no, arising, and then you increase exposure, no? And then you increase vulnerability, and then you reduce the adaptive capacity, and you see is that nag-i-increase yung risk. So I just wanted to point out here, no, that again, yung risks, no, whether that's flood or associated risks, no, to flood, yan ay malaki ang kinalaman sa land use, no? Sa land use and development decisions or choices that we make. No? Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so what do we do? No? Well, and this is already going, this is already moving forward, no? Yung kasi parang ni-request din na ano ba yung mga pointers, no? Pag in-update or kailangan bang i-update yung master plan. Kailangan talagang i-update, no? Kasi may bago na tayong projections which seems to be more robust than the previous projections that that we use as parang basis, no, nung 2017 master plan. So what is, we should promote yung Mindanao River Basin Master Plan as the basis for updating the Provincial Development Physical Framework Plan. The reason for that is, kanina nabanggit na yan, kinakailangan integrated, no? Kinakailangan na yung different stakeholders are actually working together, no, unified and coordinating all their activities. This is one way, no? Provincial Development Physical Framework Plan is supposed to be the blueprint of development activities of every province, no? Now, kung yung probinsya mo ay may iba-ibang pinanggalingan yung kanilang PDP-FP, you will expect that these different these different provinces will have conflicting, competing, competing development priorities and programs. No? Pero kung manggagaling lang sila sa isang framework, which is Mindanao River Basin Management Master Plan, no? Kung isa lang yung panggagalingan nila, then it becomes, it becomes natural that this PDP FPR coordinated and harmonized and, hindi siya talaga nagko-compete with one another, but in actually is that complementing, no, one another. Isang pinanggalingan no? Isang pinanggalingan na plano. Pag sinabi natin, gamitin mo yan na common framework, no? Gamitin mo siya as a physical framework. In other words, what we do for the Mindanao River Basin is we determine first what is good for the river basin. No? We determine what is good for the river basin. In other words, from the top all the way to the coastal areas, no? Asan ba dyan yung mga areas that can be used for whatever purposes, there are. No? In other words, ilagay mo yung mga uses yan ng agriculture, forestry, grazing, mining, urban areas, no, settlement areas. Okay, if you pinpoint that in proper locations such that you protect the integrity of the functions and processes of the watersheds and of the river basins, river basin are watersheds, okay, of the river basin and its ecosystem. So, and then use that as the framework for developing the provincial development physical framework plans. No? Dapat hindi sila magkokontrahan, di ba? No? Kasi kung sinabi ng master plan na this area is good only for protection, no? So lahat ng mga probinsya na nakakasakop diyan sa area na yan, kinakailangan protection din consistent doon sa sinasabi sa master plan. No? Di ba maganda yun? Parang, But it's easier said than done, ha? It's easier said than done because that is the real purpose of Provincial Physical Development Framework Plan, no? Ang Provincial Physical Development Framework Plan, dapat siya naman ang basis ng Comprehensive Land Use Plan. Nasa batas yan, nasa guidelines yan, pero it's not happening. It's not happening. So ito, kumbaga parang meron tayong several steps bago tayo dumating dito, no? Okay. And then, kinakailangan din, no, yung Mindanao River Basin Master Plan, no, again, based dapat siya ng PDPF, which should become the basis for CLUPs, no? And kinakailangan, next slide please. Next click pala. Yan. Dapat yung mga sectoral plans, dyan din ang galing. No? So yung ginagawa, yung pinaplano ng mga agriculture sector, dapat consistent din doon sa framework plan ng Mindanao River Basin. No? Dapat consistent din yung ginagawa ng ng tourism, ng infradev, no? Kinakailangan na yung LCCAP, no? Yung disaster risk, yung ADS-DPP, no? Yan, kaya ba natin 'yan? Kaya ba natin sa ADS-DPP? Marami na rin kaming mga watershed management plans na ginawa na wala kaming naging problema masyado with IPs. I think it comes with yung parang transparent, transparent discussion with them and persuasion. Mako-convince mo sila, you participate here kasi the more you don't participate, the more you will be disadvantaged. So, yun nga lang, kaya lang may proseso, no? Ang hirap merong yung FPIC, no? Which is a challenge. Pero siguro parang nagbabago na naman ata yun, no? Parang nagiging more, sila, nagiging free talaga. Free and okay, so yan, again, ang problema kasi natin, di ba, ang mga sectoral plans hindi magkakaganyan, no? Hindi harmonized, no? But we always say that, di ba? Lagi natin sinasabi, kasi itong mga sectors, they are working in silos, no? And this is one way, by which, this is a mechanism by which we can actually promote yung intersectoral, no, coordination and harmonization, manggaling sa isang framework. No? Now, itong importante, no? Itong importante. Sa paggawa naman ng framework ng Mindanao River Basin Master Plan, dapat kasama lahat na i-request natin or na i-compel natin na gamitin yung master plan as their framework. Kailangan kasama sila, no? Para naman hindi nila sasabihin na, totoo ba yan? Okay ba yung framework na yan? No? Kasi kung di sila nag-participate doon sa pagbuo ng master plan, mahihirapan talaga tayo. No? Pero kung kasama na sila doon sa pagbuo pa lang ng Mindanao River Basin Master Plan, no, mga LGUs, no, so alam nila na, sige, napag-usapan na natin yan, tama yan. No? Yun yung gagawin natin. No? Pero kung merong na-exclude sa process and then sabihin mo, gamitin mo yung Mindanao River Basin Master Plan as a framework, parang mahirap yon. No? And then, kanina merong payment for environmental services, no? I think that's a really potential mechanism for mobilizing resource, no, for the protection of ecosystems, no. Ito ginagawa namin to sa pagbuo ng capability zones and at the same time also land allocation, no. We look at the impacts on key ecosystem services. No? Hindi namin ginawa yan sa 2017 Master Plan. Hindi namin ginawa yan sa 2017 Master Plan. Pero yung mga in-update na namin ngayon, Cagayan River Basin, no, Mindanao River Basin, ginamit na namin ito. No, next, pakiclick nga. No? So we estimated yung mga potential consequences sa mga key ecosystem services. No? So halimbawa, pag ang choice natin is to have 40% forest and then 40% agri and 20% urban, no? Merong consequence yan sa water, sa species richness, sa food, no? Sa greenhouse gas emission, and you can add many more ecosystem services there, no? As basis for assessing whether you are actually, working on a good allocation of the land, no. So meron yan. You can actually estimate this, no, and then you can do several of this, no, to be able to get at least some sort of an optimized, no, combination. So pakiclick nga ulit ng and then as you change the combination, no, magbabago din yung ecosystem services and then you can actually make a choice alin ba yung preferred ninyo. No? So it can be done in a more sophisticated manner, no, in optimizing this. No? But in just illustrating here, ganito yung pwedeng gawin. No? Next slide. Ito ginagawa na rin namin ngayon, no? We did not do this before, okay? Kasi hindi naman updating yung before yung sinabi nung ginawa namin yung 2017 Master Plan, hindi naman sinabi ng RBCO i-update nyo, no? Sinabi gawin ninyo, no? Ngayon pag-updating, ang ginagawa namin ganito, no? We identify key indicators of 2050 vision. So may visioning muna, the start yan, no? Kung walang vision, kung may vision, then revisit the vision. And then once you have the vision, you identify what your targets are. Ano ba yung indicators ng vision ninyo? Ano ba yung concrete na gusto niyo makita according to what you envision, no? So, and then you set the desired value of key indicators in 2050, halimbawa, no, in 2050. So halimbawa ang gusto ninyo is ano bang gusto niyo sa Mindanao River Basin? Anong vision natin? To have safe and resilient, parang ganyan, no? Safe and resilient people, no? And ecosystems, parang ganyan, no? Etc. So, ano ba yung physical, ano ba yung mga key indicators nun, no? Ano ba yun? Yun ba ay yung area of forest? Yan ba ay yung quality ng tubig, no? Yan ba ay yung sediment concentration or sediment yield, no? So you identify yung mga key indicators na yan, no? That provides you a measure of what you want to see in 2050. And then you identify what the baseline value of indicators, no? So ano bang value niyan baseline? Whether, halimbawa, kung i-update natin yan this year, ano bang value ng indicators ngayon? And hopefully, yung value ng indicators is available, no? Yun yung isa pa lang, yung isa pa lang mahalaga. Pag pumili ng indicators ng vision, kinakailangan alam natin na merong available data, no? Kasi pag walang available data, mahihirapan tayong mag-measure, no? Okay, sige. So, identification of the baseline value of indicators. Again, this is based on what year most of the indicators have values. Sa, alam mo, nung ginawa namin yung Manila Bay Master Plan, meron kaming 10 indicators. No, yung 10 indicators na yun, tinignan namin yung mga historical data sets, lumalabas na ang common year na meron na pinaka-latest ay 2015. So 2015 yung ginawa namin baseline year. Kasi lahat ng indicators merong data sa 2015. And then we project the 2050 value of indicators, no? We project yung value. Halimbawa, ano ang kanina sinabi nating indicators? Nalimutan ko na. Halimbawa, forest cover, no? Okay? Forest cover. So, pinroject namin anong value niyan sa 2050, no? In other words, given now what we have, ano ba sa 2050 ang tingin natin na magiging value ng forest cover, ang area niya, no? Considering NGP, no, and other initiatives of the government, no? So, we project, ito yung magiging forest cover niya. Kung yung forest cover, no, kung yung value ng forest cover doon is let's say less than the preferred, no, desired, kasi ito desired, no? Ang gusto sana natin dito, ang value niya, no, para wala na tayong gawin, equal dun sa desired, di ba? Pag pinroject natin, ayun naman pala, no? Sa 2050 naman pala, kahit wala tayong gawin ngayon, kahit walang sabihin tayo sa master plan, yan naman pala ay ma-achieve natin sa 2050. So, walang investment, no? Pwedeng walang investment. Now, kung yung value ng 2050 value, yung projected value, no, ay less than the desired value, meron kang gap. Di ba? May gap ka. Yun yung ating lalagyan ng investment. Paano natin ma-achieve yung gap na yan, mapunuan yung gap, no? Ito yun, no? So we determine the gap, no? Yung projected value ng indicators minus targets, no? So kung yan ay positive, zero or positive, maganda, no? Pero kung yan ay negative, ibig sabihin may deficit tayo, no? May deficit tayo sa target na kailangan nating i-address by putting in more investment. Natutunan ko yan sa NEDA. Kasi sa NEDA, pag gumawa sila ng plano, no, tatanungin nila sa inyo, ano ba yung ginagawa na natin ngayon para hindi lahat ng gusto nating gawin maglalagay tayo ng fresh funding, no? Kasi baka may ginagawa na tayo tapos parang we assume na walang nangyayari pa ngayon, no? Just to be able to see the result that we want, no? So, magandang kasi you become more realistic and reasonable, no, for budgeting, no? And then, pag nakita mo na may gap, no, so you look at ano bang mga interventions ang kailangan, no? Technology, science, no? Information, institutional development, no? So, ano ba kailangan natin para ma-achieve natin o ma-fill natin yung gaps, no? Okay. Next slide, please. Ayan, ito yung mga example, no, ng mga target indicators na meron. And then, meron ka ditong mga propose ano, yung PPAs, no? Yung iba sabi PAPs, no? Pero PPAs, and then may rating ka, no? You can develop your own rubric, no? Kung paano nyo gustong i-rate itong mga ito so that you can evaluate and do some prioritization, no? Alin ba yung mauna diyan sa mga na-identify na natin ng mga investments, no? Okay. So you can be very sophisticated here, no? I'm just trying to illustrate to you itong process, no? Next. Okay, so meron ding nakalagay doon sa master plan ng mga potential areas where you can implement yung mga PPAs, no? So andyan yung merong mapa ng yung potential area for irrigation, no, irrigation development, for scientific watershed management, no, ibig sabihin ng monitoring, and then forest landscape restoration, yan. And then expansion of ano yan, Pantawid Pampamilya Pilipino Program, PPP. No? So lumabas siya noon kasi gusto nilang merong, may sabihin na tungkol sa PPP. No? Okay, next please. And then yung areas where you need yung primary health care, no? Flood control, flood forecasting, and then drought mitigation measures. No? So may mga ganito. Next slide, next please. So, yun, pag in-update yung master plan, kinakailangan balikan ngayon yun. No? Kailangan balikan ngayon lahat ng mga PPAs na yun. No? And see kung anong nangyari between 2015 and between 2015 and now, no? Ano nangyari? May nangyari ba? No? Kasi that will now become the basis for establishing your benchmark, your baseline for the updated, no, master plan. Kasi maganda rin balikan yon because it just won't, it just will not tell you ano yung mga hindi na-achieve, kundi bakit hindi na-achieve, no? Because you might be identifying the same investments, pero if we do not learn from the shortcomings of the previous investments, sayang lang yung updated master plan. No? So kailangan balikan yung mga yan. Now, I think this is the last na ba to? O nga, last na ata to, no? We need monitoring. Nabanggit na rin ito ni Doc Pat, ni Doc Rosalie, no? Tsaka ni Doc Dalisay, no? Yung kahalagahan ng monitoring, no? Kailangan talaga monitoring. Nabanggit din ni Akad Lagmay, no? Akad Mahar. Kailangan natin, no? Kasi pag science-based, ang ibig sabihin kasi ng science-based is kinakailangan mayroong scientific basis, no? Scientific basis. Dalawa yan. No, scientific basis. In other words, you apply what you understand or you applied your knowledge, no, in making the decision. But also it means you apply yung mga empirical data sets as basis for your decision making. No? So kailangan natin ng monitoring, no? Monitor yung mga drivers of change ng ecosystems, no? Monitor yung flora and fauna, monitor yung climate, soil, water, monitor yung ecosystem services, monitor yung mga areas of special concern such as erodible areas, and so on. So, kailangan yon. This is something that is a regular part of mga master plans na monitoring. Even before yung 2017, mga master plans may mga monitoring part. No? Ito kasi dito tayo mahina, no? Ang kaso mo, nagsa-science-based talaga tayo. We're pushing really hard for science-based, no? But I think there is a need for the government to really put more money, no? To put more money to generate yung mga information na yan and database na yan that we can use as basis for decision making, no? Marami pa tayong hindi alam, eh. Yung iba kasi akala nila, ang dami na nating alam. Ang dami pa nating hindi alam, eh, no? We just submitted a proposal pala, no, sa DOST yung monitoring ng mga watersheds and its ecosystems. So reviving yung Modisera. Yeah. So hopefully they will support that again. No? It's solicited, so hopefully. It's long-term monitoring ng mga river basins natin and mga ecosystems natin is something that we really need. No? A lot of the impacts of climate change are creeping. No? Slow onset. It's a very slow process. We cannot possibly assess yung impacts ng climate change sa ecosystems natin with just one data in just one point in time. No? We ought to be able to observe how they change through time. No? And that's the only way by which we can grow in our pursuit of more science-based decisions and implementation of programs and activities. So yan. So, meron pa pala akong closing, Yan. So, flood and other related risks are driven by climate change and land use. No? So, yan yung isa sa pinakita natin kanina. And then everything in the Mindanao River Basin influence risks and security. No? And then flood and other associated risks are induced by unsustainable ecosystems. No? Whether that ecosystem is urban ecosystem or agro ecosystems or forest ecosystems, no? Or river ecosystems or coastal ecosystems, those are influencing the risks associated with floods. And then a whole basin and ecosystem approach is needed. No? So you want to solve the problem of flooding sa Mindanao River Basin, you have to solve the problems of all the ecosystems in the river basin. No? Hindi pwedeng magpa-flood control structures lang tayo or nature-based solutions. No? Kinakailangan we address the whole range of problems and challenges sa river basin. And then we need unified and concerted plans and programs of LGUs and NGAs. Again, as I said, no, easier said than done, no? Pero ito hindi lang ito out of the management plan, master plan na ginawa namin, no? This is already mandated, no? Mandated na to, no? Pero hindi ito masyado pang nagsisink in sa maraming LGUs. That they hold in their hands, no, yung key to have an integrated management and development ng ating land and other resources. No? Nasa guideline na to ng DSUD. They need to use the ridge-to-reef approach or use the watershed as the planning unit. But kinakailangan lang talaga maintindihan pa at saka ma-develop yung skills required. No? Ayan, 5 minutes na lang. Akala ko tapos na ako kanina pa eh. Next slide. Hindi pala. Institutionalize, as common framework, no, yung Mindanao River Basin Master Plan as common framework for CLUPs, PDPFPs, and GA plans. So dito dito siguro kailangan yung stronger river basin councils or whatever authority, no? Kasi kailangan mo talagang i-pursue ito no? We don't want mga LGUs to just ignore, no, yung mga PDPFP or yung Mindanao River Basin Master Plan. We want them to use it. Okay? But kailangan natin ng very strong governance body, no, governing body to be able to do that. So, in closing, for Mindanao River Basin and for practically all other river basins that we have, all watersheds that we have in the Philippines, we cannot possibly pursue sustainable economic development unless we do it, unless we do it subsidiary to the protection of ecosystems and environment. I just cannot see how sustainable economic development is is realizable without pursuing it subsidiary to ecosystem and environmental protection.